This is video 3 of the close-ups of the painted Axis and Allies. Today is UK and France. Now I put this in the same container as I prefer the British player to control France. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way I like it. So I put them in the same box just to make sure, hey, this is, if you're UK, you're France. If you're France, you're UK, right? This is your box. So this box is a little different on the inside than the other ones. Again, just on the back we have the setup charts, but we don't need to go through that again. And I forgot on the other ones, I forgot to show the card decks, right? The card decks, you know, they fit into the box, and you see these little slots here, you know. So when you're playing, you have some place to put them. In addition to, this box is a little different because I have two slots here. You see, you have the European side and you have the Pacific side. So what that does is just makes it really easy for the player to keep track. You know, if that money goes on that side, that money goes on that side. Okay, it's simple. If it comes to the point where France ever needs money, the game's probably going to be pretty close to over anyways. So don't worry about it. That doesn't matter. But France, this is the only France compartment here. Everything is for France is in there. Now, I don't have a lot of French units. I painted a lot of French units. I just don't keep very many in here. There's no point. And that's to all of my other countries. I paint a lot of extras, and I actually have an overflow box of probably, I don't know, of 300 plus painted units for all the countries combined. Extra put into a different container. So if there is ever a point in game we run out, I have an overflow where I will put more in here. But as for the main game, there's plenty in here. So so let's start with UK. UK, I did a couple different paint schemes, just to add a little variety. And I know I said in other videos to don't do multiple paint schemes. You'll see in a minute when I do multiple on this, it's really not different. I mean, there's not really much difference about it. And so you start with a bomber here. We got these nice bombers. So these bombers took a lot of time as there is so many decals on them. I mean, they're loaded up, and these took a long time, not just to paint. Painting's actually easier than the decals. The decals take forever. But I did this paint scheme with the green, and then I did another paint scheme with the brown. So you see what I mean? They're definitely, you can tell, you know, yeah, there's a slight different paint scheme, but really you can really tell it's in the same theme. I mean, you can tell without a doubt they belong together. And the same thing too. We got the fighter in in one, and then we have another fighter in another one. Sometimes I like to add little details to the tails. A white stripe here, a yellow stripe here, just depending on what I find online for references. Like I don't make anything up. I mean, this is whether this was a popular paint scheme or not, I don't know. I just know I just painted them as far as actual paint schemes. Now, UK is actually one of my favorite colors that turned out. I really like their tanks. Of course, I gave them a couple of these Shermans. Again, like, remember that I was telling you on the America video. Look at how the detail on that track. The track is great. And these actually didn't get a weathering and airbrushing. This really didn't need it on that particular colors of this paint. So also there is another paint scheme for that too. We have like just a plain, and then we have one with a dash of green on there. And again, so that's just to you can see down here the color palette. You can see that they go together. And I actually like the Matildas that it came with. They're not that bad. I actually like them. I think it's a good looking mini. I think that the sculpt is pretty good. Pretty much for every land vehicle, there is the two options. I mean, you have the regular, and then you have some with a splash of green on it. I don't like getting too carried away, just because it does get confusing on the board. There's it's got to you got to have a theme. You got to have a theme. I know how awesome it would be to have this fighter and that paint scheme and that paint scheme, and especially on Germany. Germany has such really they have so many paint schemes and so many variants of how they did the camos and everything, and it's just man, this is a game, and unfortunately, like I said, I had to pull my Africa core out just because it just doesn't work for games. I mean, it's just not a. I just don't advise it. I mean, if you do it, that's cool, but I mean, you're gonna save yourself some aggravation when you're playing the game if you don't do that. Because you're gonna step out of the room for a minute on someone's turn, and you're gonna come back and find just some pieces that were moved because they thought it was a different country. It's just trust me, it happened. Just having Africa core, it happened. So I can't imagine, having too many different variants on vehicles. You got to keep the theme, really, I think. I really like these artillery that it came with the game too. These are really good sculpts. Oh, back to these mechs. I don't like these mechs. And historical board gaming has one where this is actually hollowed out like it should be. I kind of painted it a different color to try to give that effect, but it looks more like a canvas. But unfortunately, theirs has a cannon on the front, and so I don't want to get confused of it being a tank, and not a mech because it's got a cannon on it. So, and I had the crazy thought of actually honing that out, and then I realized that I was crazy, and then decided no, we're not honing that out. So, but I wish there was a different mech, and I didn't want Mack trucks. America has the Mack trucks, and I didn't want more just Mack trucks. So I just stuck with the stock pieces. I think is that kind of blurry. There we go. And here we're supposed to do two at a time here. These should stay anti-aircraft guns. Like I said, I did one of each kind of. But if you look down, you're looking down at the pieces, you can see there's, the theme. That's UK, right? Now their ships, of course, are gray. That's just how it works. They're all the ships, unfortunately, are gray. But you can see that deck, the deck, I on that print I made. It goes with my paint theme, right? I know when Detroit does his videos, he tells you what every vehicle is. I can honestly say I don't know the names of all of them, so I'm not gonna humiliate myself trying. Okay, we just call this, obviously this the destroyer, right? And like in my other video for talking about the decks, I mean, you can see at the end, what I'll do is I'll put a couple up of the different ones so you can see how the ships are. How the ships are different. I mean, yes, they're all gray in my game, but you can really tell the difference. And at the end, what I'll do is we'll do a follow up or something, and we can have them all out. But you can see these ones. It's a light gray, and the light deck. There's not a lot of weathering on them. Oh yeah, and the sub. I really like this sub too. I like this sculpt a lot. I just wish that the conning tower was able to support the number. Let me see here. And that round that looks a little sloppy is because I had to paint that one. They didn't really, the little sticker kit didn't come with them small enough for me to put on these, so I had to had to paint some of them, unfortunately. But hey, it's small. Oh, here, let's get that bad boy in here. Looks like I'm going off screen there. And of course, the guys. Now, I did 3 different paints on these. One is obviously you have the stock guy. He's wearing the shorts. But what I found was the guys not wearing shorts looked pretty much the same on their uniforms. I mean, it really looked the same. So what I did was did some of them in shorts, but then I also did some of them. What I did was the same sculpt, but I really gooped on. I let the paint cure a little bit and get goopy, and I kind of filled in the pants, right, and filled in the arm. So he's got like a uniform on. And just because a historical board game didn't really have a normal guy like this. They had SAS guys or and whatnot, but they didn't have just a guy that I felt looked like the infantry. And so, like I said, the better. I just wanted to fill in. I didn't want all my crew wearing shorts. But I really like how these colors came out, the dark and the light tan on these guys, and the green helmet, of course. You can see these bases. We got the yellowish mustardy color on here. And then, of course, I did order a few of these guys here. Now, every now and then, this does get mixed up with somebody. It's like, who is this again? And like, look at the stand, right? The stand, it kind of gives it away who it is. But like I said, it's just one of those things. When you do multiple different units and you do multiple different paint schemes, this is a game, and it needs to have a flow, in my opinion, to make people appreciate playing with them painted. Like I said, there's going to be people that don't like them, and I understand why you don't like them. If you're looking at the board and you don't know who's who, and you have to waste a lot of time thinking about, is that one of my guys? Especially like when you play here at the temporary shelter, right? I have the game already set up when you arrive, so it's not like you set up your own pieces and you can kind of reflect on, okay, this is my fighter. Oh, okay, this is my tank. This is my guy. You don't know because you're walking into a scenario that is already set up, and so if you do not have a really good memory on the setup of the board, you don't know, hey, there's a guy here, this is mine for sure. I can see where it does would get confusing, and I probably wouldn't like it much either. So if you're going to paint your minis, you have to make it easy for everybody, right? Now, of course, it's easy for you painted them, you know exactly what everyone is. Everyone isn't a history nut like, say, you are or I am. I like having the tigers, I like having this unit and that unit, but not everybody is a history buff, and not everybody can just look at that unit and know it's a German unit. They're going to see a tank and they're going to see, well, why is this one got polka dots on it? Why is this one got like a net paint on it? Why is this one green? Why is this one tan? Why is this one gray? But it's all the same army. Trust me, it's just you need to pick a theme, right? You have to. All right, so now we got, that is the British. Let's move on to France. We got a French guy, and of course we got the blue stand, just because the game pieces came in a bluish color. And like I said, just finding the actual paint schemes that go to keep a particular theme for a nation. Of course, if you start to seeing these in game, things are going really bad, right? So you shouldn't really ever see these in game, or at least the tack. Of course you start with a couple fighters, but this is still the Russian one that came with it. I didn't replace planes. I did replace some tank units, and I did create my own bomber. When I was doing my research, because I don't want to pick a unit and then paint it some other unit color. Like if I couldn't find a particular unit in a paint, how it was painted, I kept looking and kept looking. Well, if I remember correctly, yeah, it was France came with a Soviet bomber. Well, I couldn't find any paint schemes or even any data that's saying, hey, they ever use a Soviet bomber. And this is actually a hybrid I made. This the only bomber I can find that had this paint scheme to match the TAC and the fighter was only a twin engine bomber. Well, the only twin engine bomber really that is in the game is that looked right was the German one. So, but they had the wrong tail. This is actually a German bomber with the British bomber tail, right? So I kind of made a hybrid. I just made two of them, even though these will probably never see battle. I just, I couldn't do it. I couldn't give them that big Russian bomber, and unfortunately, nowhere really has. At least that I went to doesn't have really a lot of French units to pick from. And of course, the fighter. And for their AA guns, I used these old ones I had for my 1999 game. It just felt more French to me, like all this, what do they call it? I think it was the Marginal Line or something, or in the Ardennes. They had all those bunkers and everything. And just rounds. The round base is what made it feel it belonged to France to me. Not I forget what AAs even came with. It's been so long now. Don't even recall. But their tanks, though, I did replace. We got some Renaults here. I think these is the FT-17. I really like these. You can see the paint scheme on there. It's got the mustard, the green. They're all outlined in black. That was kind of a pain. But it was a common paint scheme I found when I was doing my research. So all the ground units are painted like this. And these weren't very these weren't cheap like the other ones. I think there's like $3 or $4 each. I got like 5 of them or something. Like I said, they'll never see battle, but just in case they do, I got some. And then as for their mech, Historical Board Gaming had just a Polish truck. I just felt like it fit better to go with France. Oops. Well, I don't know where he went. So we're gonna move on. He rolled away somewhere. And I remember I told you I like these Stuart tanks, and Vive la France, right? So I really like these Stuarts painted in this French. I guess they, apparently France used these bad boys, and I really like this sculpt. They did a really good job on this. And their artillery, I don't know which one this is, but also Historical Board Gaming to me. I just liked it. It was old looking, and it just looked more French to me. Like I said, could be totally wrong, but I just liked it. I just didn't want other countries' pieces, right? I just wanted to have their unique sculpts. And of course, you're never going to see one of these in game. Like I said, if you do, something went seriously wrong on the Axis's plans, right? Now for their battleship, because I gave Russia all their stuff back. This is just one out of my 1999 game. I think this was the Soviet one out of my 1999 game, if I remember correctly. And this as well. I think this Actually, I think the whole Navy came out of my 1999 game. But you can tell already. I mean, you can tell the difference in pieces. I mean, you can say, hey, there's a line here. You can see those are different. And I don't remember where this came from. Maybe this was Soviet. Maybe this was, yeah, because my old 1999 game didn't have cruisers, so I guess it's been so long. Can't remember where everything came from. And while this video is getting long, let's wrap this up real quick. Let's put her in a high gear. Like I said, most of these units you will not see. Most, like the ships, I don't keep any ships in my container. Nothing in the sub. I saw some images of some really cool green French subs. And this is the only green sub on the board. Unfortunately, it's never going to see battle, but if it did, you would be able to tell that's different. So that's it, guys. Here's my mech. All right, so that's it, guys. Now I have been asked to do some videos on painting them, so I will do that. I may be starting maybe tomorrow, maybe Sunday. Maybe I can do a video on painting a unit. I have some units I got from General Hand Grenade. He sent me some of his. I'm sure you've seen his video for custom infantry and stuff. He sent me some of those, so I've been meaning to paint those up. They're all in kind of in prime stage right now. But yeah, we'll get some of those up, and so I can do my paint video on them. Okay, guys, so that's it. I do got some more videos this weekend I hope to get done. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.